Hello everyone and welcome to another 9 R.I.P video. We are in chapter 9 of Kureha's route, the last chapter before his endings. And the last episode left off on a really bad cliffhanger. I was so upset. But I had just got a drink and sat down and I was prepared to read even longer. I didn't think it was going to end just suddenly. So I'm continuing off from the last episode just minutes later. So it's all fresh in my head. And I don't know how long this is going to last, but I'm going to keep going because I want it to be long, but I'm afraid that my voice is just, I'm just going to, my eyes are going to stop functioning. So we'll see how this goes. Because I don't want this to be over. He's such a good character and I love him so much and I just don't want to. So in the last episode, to try and break him of turning into a wraith, she kissed him and looked into his past. And she saw through his memories that he watched his sister die. He died as well. And now he's about to become a wraith with the memories that are flooding back in. And I don't know who this boy is, but he knows all about this. Anyway, I had seen Kureha's sad memory, but I saw it to grow closer to him. Even now, I seemed stuck in our shared consciousness.
俺がいけなかった。
That voice.
目を覚ましてくれ。
Wake up. And what should I say when I do? I was worried if I could support him the way he needed me to. But either way, I needed to wake up. I wanted to be by Kureha's side. I opened my eyes. Oh, he did come to. The first thing I saw was Kureha's worried face. He was looking away, head bowed. I reached out to him slowly, gracing his cheek with my finger. Kureha. He quickly grabbed my hand, pressing it against his cheek.
よかった。目が覚めたんだな。
I honestly thought there was going to be more that happened in the basement, and I'm kind of upset that there isn't. Like, it was kind of anticlimactic. Like, the whole watching the scene, and it just kept building up to where they both died. And now he's back to normal. Whatever, it's fine. That's my line. Looks like you've woken up. I'm glad to see you're back to your old self, though. Kureha frowned in pain as I smiled.
無様にも俺は欠けていた記憶を前に狂乱した。
It wasn't pitiful. Anybody might have reacted like that. Still, I was at a loss for words. Not knowing what to say, I tried to stand up.
起きても大丈夫なのか。ああ、すまない。気が動転していて、保健室ではなく、ここの机に寝かせてしまっていたな。
It's okay. Thanks for bringing me here. I looked around to see that Kureha had laid me on top of the reception desk. Trying to get down, Kureha carried me and placed me gently on the floor. His protectiveness made me laugh. You didn't have to do that. I'm fine, really.
俺の記憶を見たんだろ。頭痛や苦しさがあるんじゃないか。
I'm sorry I looked without asking you first, but I'm fine, so I don't want you to worry.
いや、お前のことだから無理よ。
I said I'm fine. I don't have that same headache right now. I don't think I got it the entire time I was looking at your memories either. After saying that, I pulled out the bag filled with Khalifa flower petals. I suppose I have these to thank for that. It seems like the Khalifa petals protected me. I opened the bag, but the petals had withered and turned black.
そうか。それを持ってくれていてよかった。
Kureha seemed convinced and let out a long sigh of relief. Khalifa flowers can purify darkness, and I believe they helped you too, Kureha. Seriously, thank goodness for these. I'll have to say thank you to Seiya and Yui.
そうかもしれないが、俺の中では違う。
Huh?
お前の口づけが闇に染まりつつある心を溶かし、俺にぬくもりと癒しを与えた。
Is she going to be all embarrassed that he realized that? Oh. That's right, I kissed Kureha then. It was rather uncharacteristically bold of me. I could have touched his skin anywhere. Well, I only kissed you because my voice couldn't reach you.
恥ずかしがることはない。お前は、俺を救ったんだからな。あの口づけがなかったら、俺は正気に戻れなかったと思う。まさに愛の力だ。
The power of true love. He spoke so earnestly I couldn't help but blush.
だから、俺がカリファの腹に感謝するのは、お前を守ってくれたことにだ。
Kureha took the bag of petals, scattering them over the reception counter.
一片だけでも無事なものがあればと思ったが、見事なまでに全て枯れているな。
Maybe he wants to keep them for what's ahead. I can protect myself. Yeah, she also said there's no need for them in the bad save, so we'll say I can protect myself. Also, I noticed something strange. It says in chapter 9, after this one, it says wait for the credits to finish. So I think there's going to be credits in the middle of this, and then there's going to be another choice. And then there's the godly end, which I wanted to do the endings in a separate video. But we'll see if I can recognize where the ending starts. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll have to figure that out when I get there, I guess. I can take care of myself, so we don't need the Khalifa flowers anymore.
お前の強さは信じているが、未だ呪われたままでは安心できなくてな。
Kureha's worries were understandable. I'm confident that once we discover the name of the spirit in the forbidden room, this mark will disappear. All I can do now is try to fend off the wraith while keeping my own sanity. I can do it, so don't worry about me, okay?
ありがとう。今の言葉で随分と心が落ち着いた。俺はお前をそばで支えるからな。
As he said this, he gently patted my head. I hope so too. He likes petting people, doesn't he? It's really cute. He did it to Hibiki too. Our smiles met and I felt momentarily at ease, but I knew we had to get going. There's something I need to ask Kureha. I think you already know this, but earlier I saw your memories, Kureha. Does that mean your memory has returned?
なあ、死の間際まで全て思い出せた。あの少年のおかげというべきか。
Kureha had long been searching for his memories, but he didn't seem very pleased. I know, right? That was understandable, though, given what those memories were. No one could be happy about that. Speaking of which, have you seen that boy?
わからないんだ。悪霊化しそうになってからは記憶が曖昧で、正気に戻れた時には消えていた。
I see. In my rush to restore Kureha's sanity, I missed everything else that was going on around me. But with what we know now, from the way that boy talked, perhaps, I believe that boy might have been murdered before Hinagiku was. I think he witnessed the events as a ghost. Kureha fell silent, lost in thought. Something else was bothering me too. Kureha had been inquiring about his death among the school's other ghosts, and he never talked to that boy before. About that boy. Why didn't he mention your sister Hinagiku until now? I simply couldn't understand it.
ああ、俺も同じように考えていた。
When he spoke at the underground altar,
あんたがそばにいたら、クレハさんは記憶を取り戻しても悪霊化しないかもしれない。ちゃんと記憶を受け止めて正気を保っていられるかもしれないんだ。
why would he become a wraith if he regains his memories?
あの時、月神家で起きた事実を前にして、クレハさんは悪霊化しかけたから。
Was it because I was by his side then? That was what I figured, but why was he acting so familiar with Kureha? From the way they interacted together, it didn't seem like they knew each other very well. Well, for now. I guess we won't know anymore until we talk to him. Kureha merely stared at a single point in silence. I felt bad for interrupting him, but now that you've regained your memory, what about your regrets in crossing over? I was really curious about that.
まだ整理がつかなくてな。今すぐとはいかなそうだ。
I guess that's understandable. You can always talk to me about how you're feeling. I really do want to be there for you. No, but I'm not trying to force you or anything. I'm just worried about you. I want you to know you can lean on me.
ありがとう。俺自身寄り添ってほしいと思うのはお前しかいない。
The only one. That makes me so happy.
俺もいつまでもお前に寄り添うよ。この世界がうつしおに戻った後もな。言葉なくともずっとそばにいる。
Even if we can't speak. A sudden dread washed over me. What do you mean by that? Kureha looked at me with a deep longing in his eyes. I felt like I could read his thoughts from that look alone. Are you planning to just say goodbye? But we promised to try and find a way to be together. I took a step towards him. Even if we can't touch, we'll find a way so I can still feel your presence. I grasped Kureha's collar with both hands and looked up at him. He gazed down with sorrowful eyes as he gently stroked my head, trying to comfort me.
できることなら一緒にいられる方法を模索したい。だがここの空気とあざの呪いによってお前の体は限界に来ている。それはお前自身も感じるところだろ
う。That's... He was totally right, and I was at a loss for words. But we finally opened our hearts to each other. We agreed to find a way to be together. My dreams for the future were shattered, leaving only the deep feelings I had for him.
この世界をうつしおへ戻し、お前を返すことが最優先。こう考えるのを許してほしい。
Kureha always put me first, and I was grateful to him for that. It's his kindness that made me fall in love with him. I gently let go of him. Thank you. I'll always remember how kind you were to me. And if I hold on to these feelings, even if I can't sense you, as long as I have my memories of you, my heart will stay strong. Because I love you from the bottom of my heart. Kureha looked at me surprised and smiled warmly.
俺もお前が大好きだぞ。だからそばでずっと見守る。幸せを願って。
He took my hand and softly kissed it. His cool, gentle breath felt comforting as it graced the back of my hand. I love you truly. They better find a way to stay together, or I'm gonna be upset. Kureha led me by the hand as we stepped out into the hallway.
今すぐにでもHinagikuの元へ行き、名乗らせるのがいい。体調的に問題ないか？
So, they never said once that she was the wraith. I was speculating that she was the wraith, but they've never connected it into the game. But he's just throwing that out there all of a sudden. It's like they've been talking about it all this time, but no, they haven't. They just not mentioned it. But whatever. I left the library with that intention, but go straight to Hinagiku. I paused and looked up at Kureha. Okay, good. Okay, so they haven't mentioned it yet. So that means the wraith is... Kureha gazed down and slowly nodded. I tried to recall what I saw in Kureha's memories, trying to picture what Hinagiku might look like. He was wearing that kimono. So creepy. Oh my goodness. The image of Hinagiku and wearing the wraith in the same attire merged together in my mind. It really is her. I hadn't realized it until now. The kimono had a distinct design, but the revelation was shocking to me.
どうして今まで気づけなかったんだろうな。悪霊となった後、何度か見かけていたのに。
I wonder what made you forget her. I felt in his memories just how much he cared about her. The wraith said so herself that she suppressed memories. Kureha's face showed a mixture of confusion and anguish. If we met Hinagiku now, even if it goes well, after I return to the mortal realm, Kureha might continue to suffer. How could I have forgotten my sister? I could almost hear him asking himself that. I can't go back to the mortal realm yet, not until this mystery is solved. Kureha, before we go see Hinagiku, let's visit that boy. There are still some things we need to discuss with him. You might know more about why you lost your memories.
そこまでしなくていい。お前は関わらなくていいんだ。
Huh? Up until now, Kureha and I had always worked together. We relied on each other.
ひなぎくとのことは俺の問題だ。だから、お前はうつしをへ。
Don't tell me what I need to do. Oh my goodness, I yelled at you. The words just impulsively came out, but I couldn't hold them in any longer. I know you're worried about me. I know that's why you want to get me back to the mortal realm quickly, but I'm just as worried about you. I don't want you dealing with your troubles all on your own after I leave. And what if something happens again? I'm scared you might become a wraith again. A tear slid down my face, proof of just how scared I was for the future. I don't want you forgetting just how much I love you. Aww. Upon hearing that, he drew me close. Oh, it's such a cute picture.
すまない。お前の気持ちを考えていなくて。
I really like these pictures, but I've always wondered why there's like blue and red. Like every image is just blue and red. Maybe that's because of the ghost stories and they're surrounded in a red world and the blue side is Hibiki side, but still. Anyway.
俺がお前を思うように、お前も俺のことを思ってくれているんだな。
I'm glad you understand.
ああ、俺も嬉しい。お前の思いの深さを知れて、な。
Thank goodness. Relieved I watched Kureha murmur.
なあ、一ついいか。ひなぎくは、俺の呼びかけに気づいてくれるだろうか。
His earlier warning to stay out of it made his question stir my heart. I don't know too much about ghosts, but I steadied my thoughts considering the possibility. Just as my love helped bring you back, maybe Hinagiku will react to the sound of your voice. I hesitated to say more, not wanting to get his hopes up. But I want to believe in miracles. Is that naive?
そんなことはない。
After a warm smile, Kureha leaned in and whispered in my ear.
そうだな。お前の思いが俺を正気に戻してくれたように、俺もひなぎくに。
In that moment, I saw a spark of hope in Kureha's eyes.
ひなぎくのところへ行く前に、あの少年を探そう。ついてきてくれるな。
Of course I will. I won't leave your side as long as I'm here, Kureha.
ありがとう。本当に。お前の思いが心から嬉しい。お前と出会い、お前を愛せて、これ以上のことはない。お前に愛されたことは、何よりも幸福だ。
Everything he says just melts my heart. He eased his embrace and I felt his cold lips on mine, a sensation that was unique to him. I'm happy too. The emotions I felt at that moment were profound. I'll never forget this moment, nor the love I have for him. Why couldn't we get that CG? I wanted... Dang it. I wanted a kiss CG. Oh well, maybe we'll get one endings. The last one doesn't count because you can't see her kissing him. Their faces are blocking everything. Also, he was really creepy in that picture too. No matter where we looked, we couldn't find the boy, so we descended the stairs. Is the mirror gone? Where can he be? We've looked everywhere. Kureha seemed deep in thought and didn't respond right away. Then a realization seemed to strike him and he turned to me.
なあ、響はあの少年も 鏡の世界へ入れていたよな。
I was taken aback by his suggestion. So do you think he might be in the mirror world? We had avoided the central stairs while searching, knowing Hinagiku was in the mirror. Passing by the mirror might trigger her curse, which was a risk we weren't willing to take. Let's go check it out. I grabbed his hand, but Kureha didn't budge.
お前はここに残った方が。
She just told you that she's gonna stay with you. After everything, you're still saying this? I know, right? Besides, I need to confront Hinagiku to give her name anyway. To get her name. Kureha hesitated briefly and began to walk alongside me again. Thank goodness I couldn't handle being told to stay out of it again. At least someone yells at him, because whenever the love interests do this, they're like, no, you must stay here for your own sake. Like, no one says, like, will you just stop it already?
お前のことは何があっても守る。
He tightened his grip on my hand, and I held it back just as firmly. We're coming to the end now. With our hearts filled with tension, Kureha and I approached the mirror. What mirror? It's not there. Arriving at our destination left us stunned because the mirrors turned pitch black. It just appeared out of nowhere.
もしかすると悪霊の影響かもしれないな。闇の気が鏡の世界に充満しているんだろう。
Poor Hibiki's probably in danger. But because we trapped her in there, the darkness is even denser than normal. I imagined the thick darkness within and felt a chill run up my spine. I'm really scared. But I knew there was no going back now.
覚悟はいいか?
Yes. I knew Hinagiku might be on the other side. I still wish we'd spoken to the boy beforehand. I thought he said that they were going to do that. Like, what the heck, man? Like... Oh, I forgot they said that the boy was... They think the boy is in the mirror. I mean, you might still get to talk to him before.
俺が先に行く。少し周りを見てくるから、お前はここで待っていてくれ。
You're still telling her to wait? Like, oh my goodness. I nodded, watching as Kureha stepped into the mirror. After a moment, I cautiously followed. Stepping into the mirror world, it felt familiar. Yet the air felt denser, likely due to Hinagiku's presence. According to Hibiki, the mirror world could have been swallowed by the other realm, so we'd better be careful. Let's start looking for her.
やっぱり来たんだね。
I know, you were looking for the boy. Like, what the heck? At least he found you. The voice echoed from below the stairs, and I turned to see the boy we've been looking for. I quickly approached him. As we reached him, the boy bowed deeply.
クレアさん。お姉さん。ごめんなさい。あんなことをして。
And now he's calling her sister. He looked up, his eyes filled with remorse. I sensed his sincerity, and yet...
お前はひなぎくの何なんだ？どうして俺を知っている？
Kureha's voice was wary as he questioned the boy.
俺は月神家で使用人として働いていたんだ。その時にひなぎくちゃんと知り合って。
そうだったのか。
うん。それで。
Just as the boy was about to continue, going to be attacked. No, she's just going to pass out again. A wave of dizziness hit me, but thankfully Kureha was there to steady me. I've known for a while now, but it seems my time here really is running short. Given my condition, we decided it was best to continue our conversation in the nurse's office. Of course you did. We're always back here. Kureha gently laid me on the bed, and the two of them stayed close by my side.
もう時間がないみたいだから、端的に話すね。
The boy then jumped right into discussing the details of the divine invocation incident. Here we go with another story. As I mentioned before, Hinagiku and I both served at the Skigami estate. Being about the same age, we would often talk together at work. Most of the other servants were much older, making our connection unique. If we could talk about anything together. Friendship came easy to us. Then Yui's Skigami disappeared. Isao Kigami frantically searched for his lost daughter, gradually losing his mind as he did so. He secluded himself in his study. Other servants told us he was obsessing over stories of spiriting away. The other servants sensed a darkness in him and started resigning one by one. But it made no difference. Eventually, they were all dismissed. Oh, that's unfortunate. Everyone except Hinagiku and I, that is. Why did they have to be the ones to die? That's not fair. We were left behind. We were to be imprisoned. I was an orphan and a live-in servant, which made me an easy target. Hinagiku had a brother, Kureha, but Isao knew her disappearance would be overlooked. Why? Kureha didn't overlook it. He came barging in. Despite his madness, Isao Kigami remained a powerful man. He could sweep the disappearance of 2 young household staff away. On the day we were imprisoned, it seemed like any other day at work, but Hinagiku and I felt something was off. The absence of the other servants was eerie. Though we dared not question our master given his unstable state, so we continued to work as we normally did. That's when Isao Kigami gave us a rather chilling order.
掃除をしてほしい部屋がある。急ぎだ。
I obeyed, not suspecting a thing. I'm like, what room is it? Who knew that the room would become my prison? That was when it all began. While I was in prison, the days passed uneventfully. Luckily, Hinagiku's room was next to mine, so we could talk through the wall. We plotted our escape, but as time went on, we heard more and more voices come through the walls. Isao Kigami had imprisoned not only us, but a number of others too. I later discovered he'd kidnapped them. As days passed, things only grew more ominous. The first victim was Hinagiku. As for her, if you've regained your memories, Kureha, there's no need for me to elaborate. I think Hibiki was imprisoned in a room similar to this. Soon after that, someone new was brought into Hinagiku's room. It wasn't her, I knew instantly. It was a man who kept muttering to himself. I feared I was going insane. What happened to Hinagiku? That question consumed me. I tried desperately, futilely, to hold onto my sanity. I wonder if it was Hibiki. He did mumble to himself, right? That death wasn't his only option, so he had to die. My time came soon after that. I was sacrificed in the ritual. Then, as a ghost, I was reunited with Hinagiku. Strangely, I was relieved to die. Given the circumstances, death seemed a mercy to me. With nothing to live for, I thought about quickly crossing over, but that became impossible.
私は成仏できません。兄が悪霊化してしまったのです。どうにかして元に戻してあげたい。
I thought he almost became a wraith. Hinagiku told me all about what happened.
今も兄は月神功を恨み、この屋敷をさまよっています。
As Hinagiku said, your murderous rage against Isao caused you to attack him with your blade while he was in the study. Your blade, though, couldn't harm the living. Really? Ironic, isn't it? Wraiths forget everything, but the anger that caused them to become one. Such is the power of vengeance, of hate. Your hatred of Isao Kigami only intensified after that. Then one day, Hinagiku came up with an idea.
私が月神功を呪い殺します。
そんなことできないよ。だって俺たちは幽霊。
兄を見ていて気がついたのです。恨みが強ければ呪い殺すことも可能ではと。
That made some sense to me. It seemed as though Kureha would one day be powerful enough to curse Isao Kigami.
でも相当の恨みじゃなきゃ。Hinagikuちゃん。
自分を殺され、唯一の肉親である兄を殺され、 並程度の恨みだと思っているのですか？私は兄のために耐えているだけです。私自身兄に負けないほどの恨みを持っている。
In that moment, something black and sinister flowed from Hinagiku's body. I hugged her, trying to restrain her.
お願いだからこらえてくれ。
She doesn't want to fight it. This is really sad. Like, oh my goodness. She doesn't want to fight it. She wants to save her brother, so she's going to turn into a wraith.
ありがとう。でももうこらえきれないのよ。
だけど稲菊ちゃんが月神伊佐を呪い殺してもクレハさんが元に戻るかわからないじゃないか。
And she's going to suppress his memories.
いや元に戻ったって君が悪霊になっていたら。
兄の姿を見たでしょう。化け物のようなあの姿を。私が悪霊となっても私だと気づかないわ。そうなればひなぎくは成仏したのだとそう思って成仏してくれるはず。
I wonder why he didn't, though.
そうでは
あなたは成仏してね。安らかな世へ旅立って。
そんなことできるわけないだろう。俺が君をどう思ってるか。
ごめんなさい。
Aw. So it wasn't Yui he liked, it was her.
ねえお願いだからやめてよ。月神伊佐を殺す方法なら他にもあるはずだ。一緒に考えよう。
そうしているうちにも兄が月神伊佐を殺してしまいます。そうすればきっと地獄へ連れて行かれてしまう。
地獄。
この世にも取り締まっている者たちがいると他の幽霊から聞いたの。聖者を傷つけるのは重罪よ。
じゃあ君は。
聖者の頃から兄は私を一番に考え守ってきてくれた。だから今度は私が。
Kureha, I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stop her.
ねえ、お願い。私のことは知らせないで。ひなぎくは悪霊になったと言わないでいて。こんなこと頼んでしまってごめんなさい。
Then, with a faint smile,
私を愛してくれてありがとう。
a lone tear fell from Hinagiku's eyes as she vanished into the shadows. He had turned into a wraith. When he finished speaking, the boy gazed at Kureha.
あんたは月神伊佐が呪い殺されたのを見ると急に意識を失ってさ。目を覚ましたのは月神伊佐が死んで数日経ってからだった。驚くことにあんたは元の姿に戻っててさ。思ったんだけどあんたは悪霊化していたけどなりきれていなかったんじゃないかな。だって元に戻ったんだから。ついでに言うとあんたに記憶がなかったのは一度悪霊になったからと。多分だけどひなぎくちゃんの死を間近に見たショックで記憶を封じ込めた。ひなぎくちゃんことね。
ひなぎく。
His voice quivered as he whispered her name. I rose and silently took Kureha's hand. I hope you can come to terms with this. I prayed the words silently as I held his hand. The boy's gaze lingered on Kureha, clouded by sorrow. Perhaps a part of him resented Kureha for forgetting all about Hinagiku. He must have struggled, honoring Hinagiku's wish while seeking for a way to bring her back. That reminds me. Gathering my courage, I softly spoke. The boy turned to me. Did Hinagiku go to hell? How was it that she was able to come back here?
ああ、刑期を終えて戻ってきたんだ。罪を犯した幽霊にも等しく成仏をする権利は与えられるらしい。と言っても悪霊のままだったけど、罪を犯したことへの罰を与えるだけで更生まではしてくれないみたい。
I see. It would probably be better to ask Seiya.
自分を殺した人間を呪い殺したという正当性が認められてか、そんなに長い間投獄されていなかったよ。まあ、それは良かったんだけど、彼女を元に戻す方法を実行するのに時間がかかっちゃってさ。
Back to normal.
まずクレハさんにひなぎくちゃんを思い出させること。クレハさんには悪霊化せずに事実を受け止めてもらわないとならなかった。なぜなら彼女に呼びかけてほしいから。それができればひなぎくちゃんは元に戻ると思うから。
I was beginning to understand the plan. Kureha had been silent but then turned to face the boy.
今度は俺がひなぎくを取り戻す番だな。
Saying this, his grip on my hand tightened slightly. So glad Kureha is taking this well.
俺思うんだ。ひなぎくちゃんもあの時のクレハさんと同じく完全には悪霊化していないんじゃないかって。
I mean, she looks pretty dead to me. When Kureha was transforming in the basement, he still had, like, his current characteristics, just his eyes were changing, his hair was growing longer. Like, her skin is dead and withered.
だってひなぎくちゃんは他の幽霊を襲わないんだ。悪霊は寂しさに飢えて構ってほしいというように襲いかかるはずなのに。
I noticed that too. Once another wraith attacked me, crying out in loneliness. Then, when Hinagiku attacked, she only pleaded for Kureha's memories to remain forgotten. So Hinagiku isn't lost to darkness yet. Until now, the hope of bringing Hinagiku back seemed bleak. After all this time, a glossary term popped up. When they worked for the Skigami family, she was confined in the mansion by Isao and murdered, became a wraith for Kureha's sake, and also killed Isao. Since then, she has wandered out of the race but wasn't alone. A boy supported her. Goodness. I'm so glad we talked to this boy first. I renewed my resolve with a sigh.
今になってどうして俺に記憶を取り戻させた？
Because it's the end of the route, why not? Sorry. That was something I couldn't understand either. I had always assumed it was to stop Kureha from turning into a wraith, but why now? I looked back at the boy.
クレハさんに大切な人ができたから。
Oh, so Misa could stop him from transforming. That makes sense.
クレハさんを支えてくれる人が現れるのを俺はずっと待っていたんだ。支えがあればきっと悪霊化しない。こらえてくれると信じて。
So I was the reason.
俺の見立ては間違いじゃなかっただろ。
It filled me with joy to realize I had become the person who could support him.
クレハさんが悪霊化しちゃったらひなぎくちゃんを救う手立てがなくなるからかなり慎重にはなっていたよ。だから本当によかった。
ひなぎくのことを考えてくれているんだな。
ひなぎくちゃんは 俺にとって大事な人だから。クレアさんが彼女を思うようにね。
Kureha released my hand and stood up. Then he bowed to the boy.
ありがとう。ひなぎくを愛してくれていて。
For the first time, I saw Kureha act as the protective big brother he was.
あんたと話すのは初めてだったけど、ちゃんとした人でよかったよ。
Kureha looked up, encouraged by the boy's words.
あんたたちが来た時のためにって、ひなぎくちゃんは地下祭壇に閉じ込めてる。だから、ひなぎくちゃんを頼む。俺じゃダメだったから。俺がいても足手まといにしかならない。だから俺は行かない。
So far there's just been a lot of talking and planning, so I'm surprised to see that my record time is already like 45 minutes into this. Huh? Before I could speak up, Kureha placed his hand on the boy's shoulder.
わかった。行こう。だがお前も一緒にだ。
俺はいいよ。何も役に立てないから。
お前がひなぎくのそばにいてくれたから、悪霊となった後も自我を忘れずにいた。話を聞いて、俺はそう感じたんだがな。
I agree, that's exactly why we should stick together. We all have to save Hinagiku, all of us.
ありがとう。うん。一緒に行こう。
Three of us set off to the basement. Before descending into the underground altar, Kureha firmly reminded me, do not look into Hinagiku's eyes. Given that her gaze could curse me, I was only in danger if our eyes met. I'm pretty sure that's right, at least that's how it's been this whole time. Just keep your eyes closed like the whole time, it'll be fine. Shortly after, we entered the dimly lit altar, and just as the boy mentioned, we found Hinagiku there. She didn't conceal her fury and started channeling negative energy towards me immediately. That was loud. But Kureha intervened.
ひなぎく。
For a moment, Hinagiku ceased. It was as though her body was frozen in time. But a part of her is still in there.
ひなぎく。ちゃんと聞こえているんだろう。この兄の声が。
Her guttural cries resounded throughout the area.
ひなぎく。
Kureha crying out her name seemed to push her back. Then he grasped Hinagiku's hand.
ひなぎく。ひなぎく。正気に戻ってくれ。
Hinagiku seemed to struggle trying to break free. I kept my eyes cast down to avoid her gaze. Oh my goodness! I don't like that, it's creepy. That gave me a chill. I don't know why, but it did. And she's like, I see you. Oh my goodness. Then somehow Hinagiku's face came into my line of sight. What? Oh my goodness, stop it. And our eyes locked. She had contorted her body enough to enter my field of vision. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Words began to enter my head, coupled with screams that I couldn't process. Ah!
ひなぎく。やめてくれ。彼女を傷つけないでくれ。頼む。
Even though I could still hear Kureha. Oh no, I'm getting pulled in. At this rate, I'll... No. I can't give up now. I made a vow to Kureha and myself to guard my own mind. My vision grew hazy as I fought to stay conscious.
お姉さん。
I realized the boy from before was supporting me. Meanwhile, Kureha was attempting to restrain Hinagiku. I'm sorry.
ここから離れよう。さあ早く。
Without waiting for my response, he began guiding me up the stairs. Even as we ascended, the sounds of Hinagiku's anguished cries and Kureha's calls to her echoed behind us. While climbing, I tried to steady my thoughts, contemplating the curse from Hinagiku that had infiltrated my mind. In those moments, I thought I heard the whisper of a delicate girl. The boy helped me all the way to the library. Then he brought over a chair and had me sit down. Thank you, you saved me.
ごめんなさい。俺がもっと気を配っていれば。
It was my own fault. I thought I was being cautious, but I ended up looking directly into her eyes. I'm glad, like, the text and the red stopped after a while, because if it lasted any longer with my controller vibration, like, I don't know. I know it's just a game, but I would have been, like, freaking out. It was too many flashes, too many vibrations. It was just stressing me out. Despite this, the boy appeared distressed. Feeling that any attempt to comfort him might be futile, I simply told him that what was on my mind. But I did come to one realization. While receiving the curse, I heard voices whispering in my head. Yes, Hinagiku was among them. And among these voices was a girl. It's just a guess, but I think it might be the voice of Hinagiku's consciousness.
本当。
He moved closer so suddenly I couldn't help but chuckle to myself. I think she was saying something like, "Brother, please help."
それクレハさんのことだ。よかった。本当によかった。
Also, she mentioned Kazuma. Is that someone's name? The boy's face froze, his gaze drifting.
そう。それ
Aw, is that his name?
俺の名前。
It's so cute. He's like about to cry. The boy by the name of Kazuma fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face.
俺を覚えてくれていたんだ、ナギク。じゃあ
They were tears of joy, and I could tell his heart was filled with love and relief. I reached into my pocket, pulled out a handkerchief, and offered it to him without a word. Kazuma looked up, thanked me, and accepted it. Suddenly, Kureha burst into the room.
大丈夫かミサ
Yes, I'm fine. How's Hinagiku?
今も地下にいる。どう声をかけても狂ったように叫ぶだけでな。扉を閉めてきたからここには来ない。
Then let's try again, this time with both you and Kazuma calling out to her. I looked at Kazuma, who nodded back at me. In his eyes, I saw a flicker of hope. This time, it might just work. This might be our final attempt. I'm not sure if my body can endure much more. Kureha seemed about to speak, but then stopped himself. Kureha?
俺を信じてここで待っていてくれないか。
Huh?
お前がいるとひなぎくが呪いを飛ばす。それは避けたいんだ。お前を死なせたくないから。
Kureha. His concern touched me, but we couldn't leave the other realm and return to the mortal realm without me being there. I understand. I'll trust you and wait, but let me keep an eye on you from a distance.
ありがとう。必ずひなぎくを正気に戻す。そうすればお前の呪いは解けて会話をすることもできるだろう。
Ah. Guess he already thought this through. I felt reassured as he considered every angle. But But of course he would. His sole focus this whole time has always been getting me back home safely.
階段の暗闇に潜んで見守っていてくれ。いいな。
Yes. Let's do it. Then without delay, we all spring into action. As directed, I hid behind the shadows in the stairway and watched silently over them. Hinagiku still looked restless as she moved about with her eyes scanning in every direction. She would notice me if I wasn't careful. Nervously, I made sure to remain out of sight. Kureha and Kazuma approached Hinagiku, and she immediately ran away with her back to the wall. The fear displayed by the wraith was proof that Hinagiku's conscience was still intact. Otherwise, she would have just immediately attacked them.
ひなぎく、聞いてくれ。俺は。
Hinagiku's piercing screams overpowered any words Kureha attempted to convey. I trusted Kureha not to succumb to becoming a wraith, and yet perhaps the flood of memories tormented him as well. Hinagiku darted towards Kazuma and seemed to seek refuge behind him, but...
ひなぎくちゃん、よく聞いて。クレアさんは、ちゃんと受け止めたんだ。もう闇に染まることはないんだよ。だから、君が闇に染まっている理由は、もう、ないだろう。
Hinagiku raised her gaze to meet Kazuma's, then slowly turned her attention back to Kureha.
ひなぎく。
He gently grasped Hinagiku's hand, causing her to shake intensely.
俺はすべて記憶を取り戻した。あの時のことをすべて。ずっと忘れていてごめん。お前に寂しい思いをさせてごめん。
Kureha delivered these words to Hinagiku with patience and sincerity.
俺は正常だ。悪霊化しない。もう心配しなくてもいいんだ。
I hope Hinagiku will understand. I put my hands together and prayed from the shadows.
寂しい思いはもうさせない。
Hinagiku, please.
ずっとお前のそばにいるよ。
Please listen to Kureha's words.
だから目を覚ましてくれ。
Please see him with your own eyes.
Misa.
そうだ。お前の兄だ。
And then a radiant light filled the underground altar, and the oppressive darkness seemed to vanish. As the light faded, the wraith was gone. Instead, a beautiful glowing orb floated gently in its place.
ひなぎく。
お兄さん、ありがとう。思い出してくれて、本当にありがとう。ずっと会いたかったです。ひなぎくと呼んでほしかった。
ひなぎく。来るのが遅れてごめん。お前を思い出せずに、俺は。
ひなぎくは嬉しいのです。だからどうか謝らないでください。
What a relief. I'm so happy for them.
カズマさん、
ひなぎくちゃん、
ありがとう。カズマさん。あなたがいつもそばにいてくれたから、私は暗闇の中でもわずかに自分を保てていました。苦しくて、辛くて、自分のすべてを黒に染めようとした時もありました。でも、あなたの存在が私を助けてくれました。本当にありがとう。
俺は ひなぎくちゃんのそばにいたくて、そうしていただけだよ。はあ、戻ってきてくれて、嬉しい。本当に、よかった。
Gradually, the boy's form began to fade.
ねえ、俺を愛してくれているなら、一緒に行ってくれない？
ええ、もちろんです。すぐに行きます。あなたのもとへ。
それならよかった。クレアさんとお別れしたら、すぐに来てね。
Goodbye to Kureha. After the boy disappeared, Kureha approached Hinagiku.
ひなぎく、会わせたい人がいるんだ。
Aw, this little reunion with them is so sweet. Hearing this, I stepped forward a bit anxious.
あなた様に謝りたかったのです。苦しめてしまいました。本当にごめんなさい。
Do you remember everything?
うっすらとですが。あなた様のことをお兄さんが守ってくれていて本当に良かったです。
Though I couldn't see her face, her voice was warm and genuine. No need for apologies, I understand, Hinagiku.
ありがとうございます。
The orb seemed to bow gently towards me. Seeing that, I couldn't help but smile. And also, I proceeded to ask her. I've been meaning to ask your name. Well, I guess I already know it, but I wanted it to hear it from you. I needed to restore this place back to the mortal realm. Sorry if this isn't a good time.
詳しい事情はわかりませんが、あなた様の頼みとあらば。
After a brief pause, Hinagiku spoke.
私の名前はひなぎく。あなた様のおかげで兄と会えました。心から感謝します。お兄さん、私はカズマさんのもとへ参ります。後で来るのを待っていますね。お兄さんが来るのは先になりそうですから。
Huh.
相変わらず、お前は里いやつだな。
And yet Misa's like, what?
ああ、先に行っていてくれ。おそらく俺が行くのは、あと何十年か後。
A few decades, that's funny. After saying that, Kureha turned to me.
ここで彼女を待ち、共に行く。
Aww. Is he saying he's gonna wait her entire life to cross over? Oh my goodness. I suspected Kureha intended to wait my entire life ended before crossing over. Actually, I'm sure that's exactly what he intends to do. That's really cute but sad at the same time. He'd watch over me in life and then join me when my time came.
お二人とも待っています。
Gradually, she faded away. Then it was just the two of us. Kureha came closer and extended his hand with a warm smile. I reciprocated the smile and accepted his hand. Is this where the endings are going to be? Not yet. Then, after exiting the mirror, Kureha mentioned a place he wanted to visit, so we headed to the nurse's office. You've always wanted to visit the nurse's office. Oh my goodness. You guys have been there so many times. Saying he didn't want to intrude on my goodbyes, he waited at the entrance instead. Yui was in the nurse's office. I told her everything that had happened. Oh, intrude on her goodbyes to Yui.
成し遂げることができて本当に良かった。最後お手伝いできなくてごめんなさい。
Yui, you've been a huge help. Thank you for everything. I grabbed her hand. Yui tried to pull back, but I held on tight. Don't worry, Yui, there's no darkness in you. You may live in different worlds.
友人よ。
She finished my sentence before I could. Together we both laughed. No fair. You can't interrupt me and say it first. I was doing a thing. I'll be supporting you, Yui. I want you to let go of your regrets. I don't want to see you still here when I get here.
ありがとう。とっても嬉しいわ。私も陰ながらあなたを見守っているから。
Our smiles met as we parted ways. Can't believe this episode has already been longer than the last one because it doesn't feel like I've been recording for that long. After leaving the nurse's office, I glanced up to the central stairway with the large mirror. Hibiki. Since he hadn't returned, I couldn't bid him farewell, but my time was almost up. Thank you, Hibiki. At the entrance, I found Kureha waiting for me. Kureha. I called his name and he responded with a warm smile. This is it, our final moments together. Suppressing such thoughts, I pulled the sheet with the corpse flowers illustrated on it. I'm about to look at this printout. I think all the flowers should be colored in now. I unfolded the sheet, and just as I suspected, all the flowers were colored in. They're wavering. For a fleeting instant, I thought I saw the corpse flowers quiver. There were only pictures, but for a moment they seemed almost alive. Silently, I brought the sheet closer to my face. You don't have to wait for me. You can cross over. I'll meet you on the other side.
それが待たなくてはいけなくてな。新たな心残りができてしまったんだ。
What's your new regret that you couldn't find a way to be together?
それはお前と共にあること。
Aww. So sweet and sad. I had a feeling things would turn out this way. I said nothing and merely smiled at him. Tears filled with a mixture of joy and sorrow clouded my eyes. Thank you for loving me, Kureha.
これからもお前を見守り、愛していく。待っているぞ、ミサ。
Tears rolled down my cheeks, not from sorrow, but from overwhelming joy. Until we meet again, these feelings will remain in my heart. I truly love you. Kureha gently wiped away my tears, and I savored this final tender touch from him.
このぬくもり、肌の感触、俺への視線、そのすべてを忘れないでおかないとな。
Dang it, I was really hoping for a kiss. Oh well, it's fine. Indeed you should. Keep those memories close. Who knows, I might end up living quite a long life.
お前がどんな人生を送るか、楽しみに見ているぞ。ミサ、忘れるな。嬉しい時、悲しい時、どんな時も俺がそばにいるということを。
I swear, if they don't get to be together, I'm going to be so upset. Like, this always happens to me in the Roots, where it's just the sweetest romantic relationship ever. They end up not being able to stay together. And it's so frustrating. But yet, like all the other ones where they are together, you know, it's romantic. And yeah, it's cute and it's sweet, but it's not like, to me, it's like not as heartwarming as this has been. I don't know. If you watch like my Cupid Parasite videos, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I guess my Code Realize ones, there's a couple of really sweet ones in there too, but I don't know. It's been a long time since I've played a game with a character like him.
ずっとお前に寄り添っていく。お前の幸福を願いながらな。
Absolutely, I'll never forget. Even if I can't see you, Kureha, I know you'll be there. You're the only one for me, Kureha. I can't be with anyone else, and with your love, I know I'll never feel lonely.
申し訳ないが、そうしてもらうか。
I know, how dare you laugh at her. A gust blew from the printout in my hand, and I was enveloped with a scent of flowers. Looks like our time is up.
また会う時まで待っている。人生を楽しんでこい。
Yes, here I go.
ああ。
That's what he said. As if on cue, the printout began to glow just as I finished speaking.
「壊れそうな儚い日々」「君と二人確かめ合ったこの夜が明けるまでずっとそうたり」日の記憶忘れかけてた日々の孤独がそっと穏やかな温度だ今永遠に君となら二人なら探してた愛の名前を知らなかったこんなに別れが辛いなんて雨が止んだら外へ出かけようもう一度だけ君を教えてほしい
That was a really beautiful theme song. I need to put that on my Spotify. Upon returning to the mortal realm, I was greeted by daylight for the first time in ages, its brilliance making me squint. I am back. I was suddenly overwhelmed by a profound exhaustion. At the same time, hunger and sleepiness took over, prompting me to collapse on the spot. I feel too weak to move. I was certain that Kureha was still nearby, anxiously watching over me. I longed to get up off the floor, but my body had reached its breaking point and refused.
おい大丈夫か
That voice, is it my teacher? Footsteps hurried towards me, and I felt my teacher lifting me up.
一色お前今までどこにいやそれよりも救急車が先だ
Thank goodness. My teacher's worry showed that I had indeed returned to my formal life. Then everything faded to black. No, come back. I was taken to the hospital and was made to stay for a few days. I received many tests, but the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with my health. The mark on my face was completely gone. When Hinagiku regained her sanity at the altar, I felt the darkness dissipate, so I assumed the mark disappeared then. It was fine up to that point, but as expected, I had been considered missing, and I was then found 9 days later. Oh my goodness, 9 days! That's a long time. My mother, sister, and Sayaka all scolded me, and then they all cried. They looked at me funny when I said it was caused by a god. But unlike the others, Mom blamed herself. It must have been because I didn't listen to you during that phone call. Was it completely wrong? Was this what the god wanted? After I was discharged from the hospital, things calmed down. I was surprised when Mom told me that I was free to choose whatever school I wanted. It seemed almost disappointing because I had made up my mind and was ready to fight. I understand that feeling completely. And for the time being, it seemed that strange chapter in my life had come to an end. As the classroom glowed with an orange hue, Kara Kara, the sound of the blade. This was the true story of Kara Kara. At school during sunset, Kara Kara continues to roam. My beloved. At Narimiga High School, they say there are 7 wonders who had lived for generations in the school. He is one of them. In the twilight, the sun casts its last glow on the school. He stands by my side, with a smile warming my heart, watching over me. I smiled as Sayaka, who had been listening, smiled back at me.
カラカラさんの真相ってそういうことだったんだ。
When I had finished my time in the hospital, I returned to school and told Sayaka all about the strange events I experienced. Sayaka believed every word, though I always knew she would. It was the one time her fascination with the occult actually proved useful.
しかし思い悩んでいると神隠しに会うっていうのは本当だったんだな。私もそのうち会うかも。
Did you say something?
なんでもない。
Of course not.
それよりもさ、あなたのおかげで学校の七不思議が減っちゃったってことだよね。
But at least she has a friend that will believe her, because no one else would probably believe her. Yeah, I suppose, but they're all crossed over, so it's for the best. Oh, the girl's toilet mystery is gone now. Oh no. That morning, I'd placed a caramel down as an offering to Hanako. Aw, that was sweet. I hope she received it.
確かに成仏はとても喜ばしいことだよね。っていうか願いを叶える本が本当にあるのがかなりびっくりだよ。頑張って探してみようかな。
It won't be easy. It was more of an exception in my case.
うん、環境的にそうだったんだろうね。あ、でもさ、あなた願いを叶えてもらわなかったんだね。
Huh? No, the book told me its name.
それは願いに含まれないんじゃない？だってあなたの名前と引き換えだったんだから。
I do have a wish. I want to know your name.
これは驚いた。わしの名を知りたい人間がいるとは。悪いが、それは願いの範疇ではない。あやかしは特別な契約でもなければ、あまり名を口にしない。ただでは教えぬ。
I never realized it, but Sayaka, you're right.
と、いけない。塾の時間。ミサ、また明日ね。あ、今度から思い悩む前に相談してよ。私っていう親友がいるのを忘れないでね。
Next time, like it's going to happen again. Right, I'll be sure to get your advice next time, Sayaka. I always feel better when I talk to you, and I'm sure things will get better. I acknowledged Sayaka's words as she responded with a smile.
変えちゃうよ。あなたからモヤモヤを消すから。
Sayaka slung her bag over her shoulder, ready to leave the classroom. I then paused at the door and turned back to me.
ねえ、明日私の話も聞いてくれる？
Of course, I'm here to listen anytime.
ありがとう。私もあなたに聞いてもらえれば変化を受け入れられる気がする。それじゃ、バイバイ。
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Take care. I watched Sayaka leave, then looked around the now quiet classroom. Kureha, did you catch that? With that thought, I began to pack up. I left the classroom and headed to the library. It's time to start thinking about which school I'm going to go to. I was still unsure about what I wanted to do in the future, but at least I still have time to figure it out. Thanks to everything that I experienced, I was able to have a different mindset. I met the dead and learned the joy of living. My future was open with possibilities. I wanted to embrace a life without regrets. Reaching the library, I noticed a shelf filled with university pamphlets. I guess I should take a look at these. Did I hear something? Are you going to wish on the book? Curious, I turned towards the sound and... oh. There it was, the red book, the one that granted wishes on the floor of the library. No way. Tentatively, I reached down and picked it up. Could it be that it's here to grant a wish now since it didn't before? My hands shaking, I opened the cover. The pages, blank and unmarked, offered no clues as to its intent. But soon the words slowly began to materialize on the page. It didn't grant your wish before, now's the time. Want to be with Kureha? A brush materialized above the book. Now, your wish. It's just like before. Following hard, I took the brush in hand. My wish... we're gonna create a save file. It's funny. If you pick allow me to see spirits, it's a bad... We're gonna create another save file. Another one. Oh my goodness. But yeah, we are going to say allow me to see Kureha, obviously. I inscribed those words in the book and immediately they faded away. Then, both the brush and the book vanished into thin air. Huh? Could it be a wish beyond its power to grant? Sigh. Maybe it's time to head home. The whole ordeal sidetracked me from considering my school options, so I simply left the library. As I walked towards the main entrance, my mind wandered through the myriad of thoughts. Maybe seeing Kureha was too much to ask for, but what if I had chosen a different wish? Oh. That sound. I definitely felt a strange presence, and with that, a sudden chill.
ああ、ここにいたのか。まだ帰ってなかったんだな。
You could hear him too. Oh my goodness, that voice. I spun around to see the very person I longed to see. Kureha. Tears welled up in my eyes. It's really him. I yearned to call out to him, but words failed me, trapped in my throat.
不思議なこともあったもんだ。視線が合うとはな。というか、なんで泣いてる？俺が離れている間、何かあったのか？
He's got it all wrong. Overwhelmed with emotion, I couldn't help but laugh. A torrent of pent-up feelings came bursting forth. I'm crying because I can see you, Kureha.
どういうことだ？俺が見えているのか？
Yes, clear as day. I've missed you, Kureha.
何がどうなってるのか、わけがわからないが、奇跡みたいなことが起こったんだな。
That's right. Looks like I've sparked another miracle.
お前には驚かされるな。
Kureha took another step towards me.
会いたかったぞ。ミサ。
Yes, me too. I reached out my hand to him, but my hand merely passed through him. Aww. That's sad. I was hoping she'd get to touch him too. Dang it. But that was fine. No, it's not. Not fine at all. At least we could talk to one another and gaze into each other's eyes. That in itself was a miraculous dream. From here on out, I could pursue the life I truly wanted. I thought we were going to get a CG. It said there's a CG. Godly end, no! Gotta do it in the next one. Save. Yes, thank you.
まさか見えるようになるとは思ってもみなかったぞ。あんなに驚いたのは、お前と初めて話した時以来だ。お前には本当にびっくりさせられる。しかし、これからが楽しみだな。そうだ。再会してから言っていなかったな。あの時よりも愛している。これからもこの思いは膨らんでいくだろう。だから、すべて受け止めてくれよ。いいな。
Okay, if that's how it ends, then I can end with that. Is that the ending? Just reading that? I'm so confused. Alright, so after looking it up, I still didn't see a CG, and I'm still missing one. I don't know why, but I think that little tiny bit after the credits is the godly end. Because I can't imagine that it's just that wall of text that we got. I can't imagine that that's the godly end. So I guess his endings will just be, I mean, there's a lot of them still. There's the heavenly end, which is the other wish that you write into, right? That's not the other end. Oh, the heavenly end unlocks the CG. That's what I'm missing. Okay, so there is another one. So there's the heavenly end that will unlock a CG. There's a bad end 1, 2, and 3, and then there's another ending that happens when you knock on the door in the common route. So there's going to be some things for the Kureha's ending video. So now I know for Hibiki going forward, I'm going to stop the episode after the credits because that leads into the ending. Even though you make a choice and you go into the godly end, that's still the ending. So that's what we're going to do. So there we go. We got his happily ever after. He doesn't get to touch her, but it's fine. It was still a really cute route, and I was really happy about it. So the next episode is going to be his endings, which will probably be pretty short, maybe like half an hour. And then we're going to go into Hibiki's route, and I'll explain how Hibiki's route works whenever I get there. So anyway, if you guys did enjoy, drop a like down below and or subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.